Some people are calling this one of the most controversial and outspoken books of 2025. How do you respond to this?
Yeah, well, I suppose if they're reading the book, it's always a good thing. I don't really think of it as controversial. I mean, you've got to keep in mind we're living in 2025. A lot of people think that truth is taboo, and people are afraid of honesty and they're afraid of truth, and some of them even think it's dangerous for people. I guess I wanted to capture the unfiltered frustration that people feel at constantly being told what they can and can't say. Humor has always been society's pressure valve. You know, if people can laugh about something and they can face it head on.
If readers love the humour but disagree with some of your conclusions, is that a win or a loss for you?
Oh yeah, no, that's absolutely a win. Remember, I don't intend to change people's minds. What I want you to do is I want you to think, and I want you to argue with a book. And even if you vehemently disagree with an idea I have, that's okay. But I mean, if you're thinking about that topic in a day or two from now, well, that's a good thing. I've done my job.
You mock cancel culture. Are you not scared of it?
No, I definitely don't fear cancel culture. I think it's one of those things that you can kind of control whether it affects you or not. Remember, I'm also not in the business of winning popularity contests, so it's also quite weird how it's always those people in society who demand tolerance that are also the least tolerant people in society.
Do you ever worry that being outspoken and telling the truth will close doors in media for you?
I've definitely thought about that before, but I've also noticed that we live in a time where the mainstream media has become synonymous with espousing ideas which are fashionable and popular rather than with truth. And for me personally, I've always thought I'd rather build a brand on integrity and honesty and, hopefully attract like-minded people through that.
If free speech has limits, where do you draw the line between satire and hate speech?
Yeah, that's a really critical question. I mean, hate speech dehumanizes people, where satire humanizes by holding up the mirror. So I guess you can think of it like that. I don't wake up every day thinking, who can I offend and what can I offend people about? Instead, I think, what truth can I reveal? So I suppose the answer to your question is the line is intent. Something I do find quite interesting is how many people can't tell the difference between free speech and hate speech in 2025.
Why do you feel free speech is under threat in 2025?
So going back to the previous point, a lot of people confuse being uncomfortable with being unsafe. And we've created this culture where people associate being offended with violence. It's absolutely ridiculous. You have to keep in mind that the greatest ideas of all time offended the establishment at some point. It's always happened. And when you start policing ideas and thoughts and opinions, you're not only suppressing the bad ones, but the good ones too. I suppose it would be fair to say my book is a pushback or a protest against that creeping censorship.
Some essays, like the one on gender and religion, are quite provocative. Do you think writers have a duty to tone it down?
Well, I think no, writers do not have a duty to tone it down. They've got a duty to be honest, they've got a duty to tell things as it is. And I also think readers are a lot smarter than the industry gives them credit for. I think people can handle difficult ideas that are wrapped in satire and humor.
How do you respond to people who say that some of your essays are really offensive?
If somebody's offended, then good. It means you felt something. And offense is sometimes the first step towards awareness. Satire has always poked the bear. You think of George Carlin and Bill Hicks, and satire and humor challenges people's comfort zones. I don't go out of my way to offend people, but I'm also not going to apologize for your interpretation of something. I also need to add over here that you might notice that I punch in all directions, so nobody's immune from it.
You write about trans people in sport. What do you say to someone who says that discriminates?
Well, I think the conversation needs to be about fairness rather than feelings. I mean, sport is physical and men and women are biologically different. And I think if you feel that they need to compete against each other, you're undermining the integrity of competition. It's not hate speech, it's just logic.
In the abortion debate chapter, you make bold claims. Do you think humour belongs in such sensitive topics?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think humour belongs everywhere, especially where people are afraid to go. It's how we confront pain and taboo, and it's basically how society processes uncomfortable truths without screaming at each other. When you use humour in sensitive topics, you're not mocking the tragedy. You're revealing the absurdity in how people are arguing about the subject. Like with the abortion debate, it's emotional, but it's also full of hypocrisy on both sides. And then also suppose the satire and the humour cuts through the moral posturing.